Good to have you with us. Ed Schultz, News and Commentary. I told you the other day about an interview that Joe Biden did. He was asked on one of the mainstream media shows about who's the head of the Democratic Party. He reeled off about 5 or 6 names, but what was so startling about it was that there was one name that was missing. Joe Biden did not mention Bernie Sanders' name. Now, maybe it just slipped his mind or whatever, but it's a signal to me that the establishment of the Democrats they have not accepted Bernie yet. Here in Washington tonight at 8 o'clock, the Our Revolution organization is going to be holding a rally over at the American Federation of Teachers, which is headed up by Randy Weingarten, who, by the way, supported Hillary Clinton. But, of course, that was yesteryear now. We're moving forward. The number one thing is you got to know who's the head of the party. Who's the head of the Republican Party? I think the guy's name is Donald Trump. Okay? Who's the head of the Democratic Party? Well, we don't know yet. And so there is this fight that's taking place about who's going to be the DNC chair. The RNC chair isn't going to be approved to be in that position unless Donald Trump is okay with it. That's the way the world turns in politics. Now, the point is that there is some competition for the endorsed guy, which is Congressman Keith Ellison. He gets the endorsement of Bernie Sanders and Chuck Schumer. Schumer says when the DNC opened up, they called me and said that we need to make the DNC not a fundraising and political organization, but a true organizing tool. That's what Bernie Sanders told Schumer. Schumer said, you're absolutely right, and the guy to do that is Keith Ellison. Bill de Blasio has jumped on the Ellison bandwagon. But here comes Labor Secretary Tom Perez. He's launching a campaign to be the DNC chair. And I'm telling you, folks, if the Democrats keep going down this road, they're going to be the party of New York and California. And if you want to get these, quote, white working workers back on your side, you're going to have to start speaking their language, and you're going to have some kind of connection with them. Okay, I'm going to say it. This is terrible, I know, but this is how folks in the middle of the country think. Is the DNC ready for a Muslim to be the leader of the party in that regard? I don't know. I know Keith Ellison. He's a great guy. There's no question about it, but there are going to be those questions. And it's our job to talk about these things as I see it. Now, Tom Perez has no chance, in my opinion, because he was pushing the TPP for Obama. Every union in the country was against it, and so he lost that fight. He couldn't convince one union to come along with the TPP. So how effective is Tom Perez? You know what Perez is doing now that he's the outgoing labor secretary? He's looking for a job. All right. So, and speaking of that, if you'll go back and listen to my previous podcast, you'll hear Mitch Caesar, the DNC executive counsel. He was saying that it's got to be a full-time job. Now, Ellison has said that he'll leave the Congress to do this. We shall see. Bottom line in all of this, you got to find a leader. And I don't see this recognition from anybody on the Democratic side that Bernie's a big-time player. To the point where Biden, oh, by the way, Joe Biden and Biden2020.com has already been pulled down by somebody. You know, there has to be this recognition that the party needs to change, and I don't sense it. Mike Papantonio, host of America's Lawyer on RT America, joins us, Ring of Fire radio host as well. Guy wears a lot of hats, does a lot of things. By the way, Mike's show premieres tonight on Wednesday night here on RT America, 7:30 Eastern Time. Mike, congratulations. Good to have you with us.
Thank you, Ed. I'm glad to join the ranks with RT. I can tell you it may be the last voice out there that's able to tell news in any kind of meaningful way without advertisers saying, no, you may not say that. That developed with me over the years with MSNBC and other places, and I just got tired of it. I got tired of them saying, no, you can't tell the story about this drug that's killing hundreds of people all over the country because we have advertising with us, Pfizer or Merck or Bayer or Johnson. Now, that's propaganda. You know, it's incensing to me to hear this propaganda argument about RT. You want to see propaganda? Propaganda is when MSNBC can't allow a story to be told about something like TPP because Wall Street gets angry. and they get their advertising from Wall Street. That's propaganda.
What's the first show about tonight?
Well, I've got Aaron Brockovich. We're going to be talking about Flint, Michigan. We're going to be talking about how Rick Snyder engineered the cover-up of one of the worst, just an absolute catastrophic event that not only affects the health of so many people, it affects the property values, it affects the business quality of an entire city. And Rick Snyder, Aaron's been up there firsthand, has seen the documents firsthand where they undertook a cover-up, and they allowed people to continue drinking water that was laden with lead that was 3,000 times higher, 13,000 higher than it should have been. And it was just business as usual. This is the new replacement of government. This is where we have our Rick Snyder business leader who ran on, I'm a good businessman. Well, that good businessman created this disaster and then covered it up for an entire year between 2014 and 2015, would not let the truth out.
And nobody's in jail.
Nobody's in jail, and absolutely, you're going to what taxpayers are going to spend dealing with the health effects of what Rick Snyder and his cabal of idiots accomplished up there is going to be overwhelming. They don't have enough money to spend on what it's going to cost to the disease that's been caused in children that at this point have been permanently. I mean, you don't. This is not reversible.
Okay.
Once lead is in their body, it's irreversible. So,
Mike Papantonio with us, host of America's Lawyer. It's going to be on RT America Wednesday nights, 7:30, and there'll be other time slots as well. But the premiere show is tonight. Now, this is what it's going to be, folks. This is going to be a deep dive into stories well beyond the headlines, into the documentation, the paper trail, the evidence uncovered and delivered to the American people and the world of what the backstory is on all kinds of things that have unfolded out of the eye of the public. Is that a fair assumption, Mike?
That's true, Ed. There won't be anything that comes out of my mouth. I won't make a statement until without showing the document that supports it. These documents have been deep-sixed for so long by corporate media. The only reason I'm able to get the documents is because I know the lawyers who are bringing the cases. I'm participating with them. I read the documents. I see the documents. And corporate America is going to be astonished when they start seeing these documents on the air in front of everybody's eyes.
Are you sure you don't want to change the name of the show to America's Workaholic? we can do that. You know, there's still time before the show goes on the air.
We have a lot of work to do, don't we, Ed? Coming up these next several years, it's just so much to do.
All right, I want to know your thoughts on DNC direction, the Bernie Sanders play here. Look, and the reason why I'm talking about Bernie like this, show me another Democrat or progressive or liberal or whatever, socialist, whoever, that's not Republican, not conservative, that can go out, number one, get the crowds, go out and get the younger generation, the millennials, go out and get them motivated to show up and to donate and to match them without corporate money, without Wall Street money. Is there somebody out there other than Bernie? Should there be any question what the next sunrise ought to be all about for the Democrats?
Of course not. Think of the arrogance of Joe Biden saying that Schumer and Pelosi and Obama are the only brain trust left for the Democrats.
Yeah.
He named some other people, but the point being, what is it that you have to do to them to say, look, you blew it? The very people that you're saying are the brain trust going forward blew it.
Yeah.
You blew it when you propped up Hillary Clinton when you knew she couldn't win halfway through. You blew it because you were trying to preserve this thing that you've created, this nepotism system that exists in the DNC. You blew it.
Well, here, I think that there is going to be some very interesting waters to cut through for the left here in the next 6 months. Because, and I hope that Bernie Sanders recognizes what deck of cards he's playing with. He's got more aces in the deck than anybody else. The question is he going to play him? And I'm speaking in terms of that. I think he has the power, Mike. I think that he has to act like he has the power. He has to be aggressive in where he wants to take the party. This movement by consensus, no, the people have already spoken. Now it's time to do something. And this change, this our revolution, it just can't be an organization that gets together and has tea and crumpets every 6 months. They got to push hard on Schumer, and Schumer has to move in Bernie's direction. That's how I see it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, we don't see him moving in Bernie's direction or Elizabeth Warren's direction even. Here's the point. Bernie has got to be, and I really do believe he will do this. He'll see things going so bad with the DNC's inability to push back on things that are going to really matter to the American people. We're going to see, I hope, and I hope an organization is put together to do this, to have him on a perpetual kind of platform run where he's showing up in towns like Orlando, Florida, and he's bringing in the crowds that he brought in New Jersey, and they're coming to see Bernie, and Bernie is continuing that message. The message will be lost. The message will be lost if Bernie Sanders does not do that. Look, we know this, don't we? We know that social media alone is not enough. There has to be that human touch of Bernie Sanders showing up in L.A. and bringing in a crowd of 30,000 people and wowing 30,000 people about what is happening both to the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. We have got to get away from this fear of talking about how dysfunctional the Democrats have become, and we have to talk about them the same way we talk about Republicans. I've always said, there is not much difference here. The differences are on social issues. You have to agree the Democrats are better on things like gender. They're better on things like race.
No
they're
question.
They're better on important issues. But where it comes to people being able to provide a living for their family, they're terrible. They have this new alliance that is getting stronger and stronger, all the way back to Bill Clinton with Wall Street. They don't have the understanding that they have bought into Citizens United full tilt, and the reason that Pelosi is back in the chair is because Wall Street put so much pressure on those Democrats on the floor saying, you better put her back in if you want money the next time. It's a perpetuation of Wall Street.
All right, Rex Tillerson, CEO of Exxon, possibly the next Secretary of State. There are some Republicans that could block him. If he is Secretary of State, I would imagine you and your team are probably going to have some work to do on the oil industry.
We'll have more work than we can handle. This is a man who simply has no sense of what he's doing to the planet, doesn't really care. And in any other country, I mean, you've got places like Iceland where they're actually thinking about criminally prosecuting some of these folks that are absolutely involved with perpetuating climate disaster. Tillerson would be one of those people. The best spin I can put on it, Ed, the only way I can spin, the only positive is Tillerson does have a relationship with Russia. We have to make a choice. Do we have a relationship with Russia or do we have a relationship with China? And if you really think about it, it seems that Trump has already made his decision. He seems to be rattling the swords about trade with China. So if you do that, you sure better have a great relationship with Russia.
Mike Papantonio, Ring of Fire radio host, also host of America's Lawyer, author as well. America's Lawyer premieres tonight on RT America, 7:30 Eastern Time. Mike, when else is the show going to play? I know there's other times that I think it's playing like over the weekend too, isn't it?
Yes, I think it is. It's on Sundays, and it's prime time on Sundays, and in the morning. In the morning on Sundays, and I think prime time another day.
Okay.
I'm not certain what.
Well, to find out more about it, you go to ringoffireradio.com, ringoffireradio.com, and they'll have all the information listed there. And of course, we're excited to have your expertise and wisdom and your work ethic, which is unparalleled on the network. Looking forward to it. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ed.
Mike Papantonio, host of America's Lawyer. When we come back, Donald Trump on his thank you tour said some pretty funny stuff last night. Stay with us. We're right back. Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Communication Workers of America, Alliance for American Manufacturing, BioGreen Clean, and the iSave team bring you this production. At a victory rally in Wisconsin last night, Donald Trump says he's come to appreciate House Speaker Paul Ryan. Now, I find humor in Trump. I do. I don't agree with him on everything. He's president of the United States. I don't want to see him fail. I don't agree with some of his policies. But I do. I'm not captivated, but I pay attention to what he says for moments like this.
Speaker Paul Ryan, I've really come to I've come to appreciate him. Speaker Paul Ryan, where's the Speaker? Where is he? He has been, I'll tell you, he has been terrific. And you know, honestly, he's like a fine wine. Every day goes by, I get to appreciate his genius more and more. Now, if he ever goes against me, I'm not going to say that, okay?
Hey, you know what? There's some truth to that. That's what the entertaining part of it is. He goes on to talk about election night and how his daughter called him to tell him things weren't going very well. Here it is.
Then they called me and they said, I'm sorry, Dad, it looks really bad. Looks really, really bad. I said, what's the problem? Tell me. Now, I was doing, it's very interesting, because I really assumed I lost. You know, look, I believe that these things are supposed to be correct. So I sort of thought I lost, and I was okay with it. I wouldn't say great. In fact, I called my vice president, and I said, it's not looking good, right, Mike? I said, not looking good. You were getting the same numbers that I was getting.
Now, but then there was another phone call. He got a phone call from Vladimir Putin and told him, don't worry about it. We've hacked everybody. This is in the bag. I mean, come on now. Get your dauber up. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be just fine. You know what? I hope the Senate, I hope the House, I hope the FBI, the CIA, I hope everybody in the world investigates this. Because they're going to find out that they're only going to be embarrassed. Now, one of two things is happening here. Either Russia is just absolutely lying through their teeth with their spokesperson, who said yesterday that this is all ridiculous and gave a lengthy soundbite to RT. Now, either they're absolutely lying or our intelligence is really, really wrong. I can't wait to see how all of this unfolds. But at the end of the day, we're going to be asking the same questions to the President of the United States. What kind of intel are you getting? And if it's so serious now, why wasn't it so serious when you got the statement from the Director of Intelligence back in early October? I don't get that. Either Obama's totally incompetent or he didn't give a shit. What is it? And I also can't believe that Trump and Obama haven't talked about this. I think it's all going to come out down the road. The mainstream media is using this as the platform for a crying towel for the Clinton people. Oh, he should have won, but the Russians. They're trying to sway the Electoral College with this phony story that is backed up with parallel information to WMD in Iraq. That's what it is. That's where it is. And so who's getting the hit? RT America's getting the hit. Oh, you guys are nothing but propaganda. Really? Not one time did RT America break programming to carry Donald Trump on the campaign trail live. That's right. We're 24/7 programming. Not one time did we ever cut in. Not international, not London, not Washington, D.C., RT America, the global news network, didn't happen. We didn't do it to Clinton. We didn't do it to Trump. We covered it in our newscasts, but we didn't promote it and give him billions of dollars of exposure worldwide just because he was in front of the microphone talking. But the mainstream media did it, so you tell me where the propaganda is. Go ask the Clinton people if they're happy with all that live coverage that Trump got. You know what Trump did? He saw himself doing 4 and 5 events a day while Hillary Clinton was doing 2, maybe 1. And he got 2, 3, 4, 5 times the coverage just by working it, and the network's covering the same stuff over and over again. So you tell me where the propaganda is. Ed Schultz, News and Commentary. We're back tomorrow.